Tonight, an 11th hour deal. The US and Iran agree to a 2-week ceasefire just hours after Donald Trump warned Iran's whole civilization would die. The ceasefire fueling hopes here at home. What does it mean for petrol prices and supply? Locked up, Ben Roberts-Smith remaining behind bars in Silverwater Jail, awaiting his next court date. The moment a gunman unleashes on a Panania home, the third time it's been targeted in a month. Explosive new details about Jackie O's $80 million lawsuit claim she complained about Kyle 6 months before their on-air blow-up. And a warning to the NRL, Nathan Cleary has only scratched the surface ahead of Game 200.
This is 10 News Sydney with Sandra Sully.
Good evening. First tonight, the breakthrough the world has been waiting for. The United States and Iran have agreed to a temporary 2-week ceasefire. There is no guarantee of lasting peace, but America has stopped its strikes and the regime says it will end its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz in a move that should free up global oil supplies. It is a remarkable turnaround in negotiations. The agreement announced just hours after Donald Trump posted one of his most disturbing threats yet.
Die-hard regime supporters willing to lay down their lives, forming human chains around the Iranian infrastructure Donald Trump vowed to destroy. At the 11th hour, the US president took an off-ramp, announcing a 2-week double-sided ceasefire subject to the complete, immediate and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has agreed to the deal brokered by Pakistan, steering the Middle East away from what could have been a catastrophic escalation. In the hours before the announcement, President Trump fired off an apocalyptic post warning a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again.
I don't think it's appropriate to use language such as that from the President of the United States, and I think it will cause some concern.
Condemnation from some within the MAGA movement too. Other critics describing the President as an extremely sick person.
Donald Trump right now is acting in an unhinged, dangerous way.
The centrepiece of the ceasefire is the Strait of Hormuz. Donald Trump claims the US will help clear the backlog in the crucial waterway. Iran says it will charge vessels to use it, but will allow safe passage, which will be managed by the military.
Does that mean, for example, that all the ships going through the strait still have to be approved by Iran? The devil is in the details here.
The next step is proper peace talks, set to be held in Islamabad later this week. While Donald Trump claims the 10-point proposal submitted by Iran is workable, there are concerns about the terms of the deal. Iranian state media has previously reported the conditions include retaining the right to nuclear enrichment, the withdrawal of all US forces from the Middle East, the removal of sanctions and war reparations.
Destroying Iran's capability to build a nuclear bomb was a core objective of this war.
No matter what, we'll ensure that Iran never obtains a nuclear weapon.
According to Pakistan, the Iran deal also includes a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected that, meaning the fighting in Lebanon continues as the frailest of ceasefires between the US and Iran begins. John Paul Gonzo, 10 News.
If you were hoping the ceasefire announcement would lead to immediate petrol price relief, well, think again. Experts are warning it could take more than a week for the pain at the Bowser to begin to let up. And that's if the war does actually stop.
For 5 weeks, we've wondered when the fighting in Iran will end and when fuel prices will come down. Now we have an answer to the former, for now at least, but that has not given us an answer to the latter.
Prices are what they are, but it's good to get a cheaper price than paying about $3 a litre.
It's a bit hard to afford to get to work and then just use your work money to pay for fuel to get to work.
The Energy Minister today saying there is 39 days worth of petrol in the country, more than at the beginning of the war, but dashing hopes of a price plummet.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We welcome progress, but I don't think we can say the Straits of Hormuz are now open. There's more work to be done.
Chris Bowen also confirming there will be no change to the 3-month cut to the fuel excise.
We've said 3 months. Obviously, we will assess the situation closer to the end of that 3 months. We hope things have improved by then.
There is some good news, though. 221 service stations nationwide are without fuel. That's about 3%, a number that is gradually coming down. Businesses say they are still bearing the brunt, though. Today, a coalition of the willing asking for gig workers, owner-drivers and transport businesses to be able to pass back surging fuel bills to their major corporate clients.
And we're all here to say to the Fair Work Commission, you've got powers to act here to ensure that road transport businesses are paid for the cost of this unprecedented fuel spike.
Oil prices had already begun to fall overnight, and that was before the announcement of the ceasefire. If it holds, this de-escalation will lead to a reduction in the wholesale price, which should then flow on to the bowser.
Our advice would be do the same. You went up first, go down first. What you took from Australians at the start of the conflict, give back at hopefully what we are now at the end, although obviously anything can change.
It only took hours for prices to go up when the war started, but it could take a while longer than that for them to come back down. Matt Cannellan, 10 News.
The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, is preparing to travel to Singapore tomorrow in the hopes of shoring up more fuel by leveraging our gas exports. But tonight the government is also being urged to fast-track an oil exploration project in Queensland to boost domestic production of diesel to protect Australia from future energy shocks.
Deep in cattle country, the Taroom Trough.
Liquid gold.
A project the Queensland government is jumping for joy over, claiming it can help solve Australia's fuel crisis.
There it is! Right in your lock!
The trough already produces around 200 barrels of crude oil a day that's turned into diesel. The federal government now being urged to fast-track the project.
It will allow us to get these wells drilled faster, to produce more oil.
If there's a proposal, we're more than happy to work it through. It's got to stack up economically, obviously.
While in Canberra, Nationals leader Matt Canavan unveiled his 5-point plan dubbed the Economic Revolution, proposing another baby boom, more dams, more roads and scrapping net zero, all to revive Australia's economy.
Some of it will need the slaying of long overdue sacred cows.
But tonight, the Prime Minister's attention is focused on international affairs, travelling to Singapore tomorrow to shore up future fuel supply. 55% of Australia's petrol imports comes from the island nation.
It's important that partners continue to work together, and that's what we're working towards.
Well, this trip seems to me to be a bit of a panic trip by the Prime Minister. They clearly missed the boat on fuel supply.
In a clear sign our government is canvassing all options to ensure the fuel keeps on coming, Anthony Albanese last night spoke to China's Premier, with both leaders vowing to ramp up communication between Canberra and Beijing, all in the name of regional fuel security.
It was certainly a positive discussion about the importance of trade between our two nations.
It's a lot of spin. We see that from the Prime Minister, we see that from the Energy Minister. It's outcomes I want to see.
And with Australia being Singapore's second largest supplier of liquefied natural gas, exporting more than $5 billion worth last year.
We expect reciprocal arrangements.
That's more than enough leverage ahead of these crucial talks to keep Aussie bowsers flowing. Matthew Carstunen, 10 News.
Ben Roberts-Smith will remain behind bars until the 17th of April after his lawyers declined to push for his release today. Mining magnate and billionaire Gina Rinehart has jumped to the decorated soldier's defence, arguing the money for the investigation should have been spent on protecting Australians from terrorism.
The barbed fences of Silverwater's maximum security prison, where Victoria Cross recipient Ben Roberts-Smith will spend the next 9 nights in protective custody. Arrested at Sydney Airport yesterday for alleged war crime murders, the 47-year-old was taken to Mascot Police Station before being transferred to his cell.
It is a difficult time, and for people in the Defence Force, they see themselves as part of a broader family. It's important that this not be politicised.
In Afghanistan in 2009, Ben Roberts-Smith is accused of murdering an unarmed man with a prosthetic leg, which later became a drinking vessel for Australian troops. Then in 2012, he allegedly kicked a farmer off a cliff. He is charged with 5 war crime murders in total.
Not only will this go into the history books in Australia, but more globally when we're talking about accountability and justice for international crimes.
The presumption of innocence is crucial.
The opposition leader says the Commonwealth must financially support his defence. The veteran soldier also has a billionaire in his corner. Gina Rinehart saying, "I don't understand how it can be justified to spend more than $300 million to try for years to bring SAS veterans towards criminal proceedings," asking for compassion and the Aussie spirit to be extended to Ben and his family. Ben Roberts-Smith's legal team pushed for his matter to be heard at the Downing Centre local court in person this afternoon, but the schedule didn't allow for it. Members of the legal fraternity finding it highly unusual there was no application for bail at the first opportunity, prolonging any potential release until April 17.
And Sarah joins me now at the desk for more on this story. Sarah, someone quite significant, has just come to the defence of Ben Roberts-Smith.
Yes, Sandra, former Prime Minister John Howard has just released a statement moments ago, and he says the arrest of Ben Roberts-Smith will tug at the heartstrings of millions of Australians, and to some, he is the modern personification of the great Anzac tradition. He also acknowledged this tests the limits of our Australian values and the respect we have for those who put their lives on the line to keep us safe. And Sandra, he stressed the importance of a fair trial.
Indeed. All right, Sarah, thank you. A family in Sydney's southwest has had their home targeted for the 3rd time in less than a month. 3 people were home when shots were fired. Their neighbours tonight frustrated that this is becoming a regular occurrence in a street full of families and retirees.
A single bullet piercing a home's front window, the sound ricocheting down the street. Before the hooded man retraces his steps back to the car and the driver takes off. It's Groundhog Day for residents on Tyalgum Avenue in Panania. This incident, the 3rd at this home in the past 25 days.
Pretty loud, but when you hear a bang, the first thing you think, it's a gunshot, isn't it?
The 3 attacks eerily similar. A white sedan pulls up to the home, a man gets out, walks past the letterbox before opening fire. The first occurring on March 14, the second 2 days later when the firearm jams, before the 3rd last night.
It's just annoying, like you got a 10-week-old, you have a 4-year-old son as well, like it's meant to be a quiet suburban street.
And the neighbours haven't been spared from the violence. A grandmother's car set alight in a firebombing on March 19. The wrong home, strikingly similar to that of the intended target. Since the firebombing attack last month, the family have stayed elsewhere. Neighbours telling 10 News they only returned home last night, and within 3 hours, their home was shot at again.
But it's weird because as soon as they came back, that happened, so clearly someone's watching.
Police tonight on the hunt for the white sedan, a key part of evidence in their investigation, as neighbours brace for the residents' return home.
Hopefully they stay out of the house and they go somewhere else.
Zoe Martin, 10 News.
Meanwhile, another home in Sydney's west has been peppered with bullets overnight. Police called to Shepherd Street in Collerton at around 9:30 p.m. Shots were fired at a home before a vehicle then fled the scene. A person was inside at the time, however, was uninjured.
Yeah, I was in the house, I had a shot and then the cops came.
I heard 2 shots and then I heard a machine gun. Like that, you know. I knew it had to be a machine gun.
Police are investigating with no arrests yet made. New documents reveal radio personality Jackie O made a number of complaints about the conduct of her co-host Kyle Sandilands months before the infamous on-air spat that ended the Kyle and Jackie O show. The allegations form part of her statement of claim against her former employer, ARN, as the network prepares to defend lawsuits from both of its former stars.
Seeking more than $82 million in damages, it appears Jackie O. Henderson keeps her receipts. The 51-year-old was sacked from the Kyle and Jackie O show in February after this on-air blow-up with Kyle Sandilands.
Be aware of what's really going on.
I am, Kyle. That I totally am offended by you saying something like that.
Jackie later declared she could no longer work with Kyle. Now, a statement of claim released by the federal court reveals Henderson complained about her co-host's behaviour as far back as August 2025. Kyle Sandilands made offensive and degrading comments on air about Ms Henderson's character and personal dating life, the document reads. In particular, when Mr Sandilands referred to all of your psychobabble and remarked, "Why does it have to be some weird psychological before referring to Henderson's period time. The claim alleges another complaint was noted almost a month later, followed by text messages from Jackie to her bosses at ARN. We are getting a lot of complaints from listeners, calling it an abusive relationship, women especially, she wrote. The Kyle and Jackie O show was taken off the airwaves 5 months later, with both Henderson and Sandilands launching separate lawsuits, totalling more than $167 million. Jackie's statement of claim alleges her termination of employment included misleading and deceptive statements by the radio network, and damages will be sought for loss of earnings and damage to her reputation, career and professional standing. ARN intends to defend both lawsuits, soon to be heard in the federal court. Taylor Ryan, 10 News.
Tara Rushton is here now to preview tonight's sport. And Tara, I think I already know the answer. Can anyone stop the Prince of Penrith?
At the moment, you're exactly right. No, they can't. He's in fine touch, Sandra, and all his teammates are going to want to get up for his milestone match, of course, as he hits game 200 tomorrow night against the Bulldogs. Both coaches say his greatness has only just begun. The Wanderers are primed to spoil Sydney FC's final hopes, but will their new coach in waiting be there for the spectacle? And how costly was this moment? Defending champion Jack Robinson pays the price at Bells. We will have all the details ahead in sport.
See you then. Thanks, Tara. Stay with us. Still to come, drug danger warning, the addictive substance being sold in convenience stores everywhere. We've got the latest courtroom development in the case against accused Bondi gunman Naveed Akram. A spectacular sight from deep in space. The awe-inspiring images sent back from the Artemis crew. And scary scenes on the Gold Coast. How a roller coaster broke down, leaving passengers stranded mid-air.